Hi Capricorn, here's a general look at your solar chart for September 2011. Now every year at this time the Sun comes into a fellow Earth sign, which is good news for you. Your sign is also an Earth sign. And this is quite an outgoing trend at the moment. It's more adventurous energy, so you might just get the feeling as though you want to escape. You want to do something different, you want to try different things, you want to plunge into a different type of environment and just immerse yourself perhaps in a subject, field of interest, just something which is refreshing, something which refreshes your spirit. So, whatever that means to you. So for some of you it's a good time to plan to just take a break, take a holiday, or maybe you're just scheduling that, you're just planning and plotting where you will be going, or very much you could be sitting on a train or a plane or a boat and actually going there at the moment. Or you could be putting yourself mentally somewhere which is a different territory, and definitely zooming out, not sweating over the tiny details so much, zooming out to get the bigger picture on things and just get things in perspective, because this time comes after quite an inward turning time for you when there's a lot of emotional stuff going on. Now, until mid-month, places and faces at a distance could be more appealing than usual. Love relationship or a friendship or a family relationship, that it could be centered around travel, foreign culture, or an educational environment. From mid-month, important others will tend to see you in a good light. And you could find an ally, possibly female, who is invaluable to your success, and could play a sort of supportive role, just easing things for you, and that's after the 14th. So if you want to make a good impression, you want to climb up the ladder, if it's to do with your profession or in a business sense, then there could be this ally for you, particularly, as I say, from the 14th onwards. Until the 18th, collaborations can be very productive. They're full of vitality. You and someone can do business together and be very active. But you have to understand your energy levels and how they match their energy levels. You've got to understand your needs and requirements and their needs and requirements, and try and find a way to come to a win-win solution. Because Mars is quite an adversarial energy in that close relationship area, and there can be clashes at times of conflicts or opinions, lots of very robust debate, shall we say, going on. But on the flip side of that, teaming up with another is advisable, because their contribution can be helpful or even invaluable to you, but there might just sometimes be a need for you to step back, take a breath, soften your tone, and look for the way forwards, which is making both sides happy. So if you've got a habit of coming on too strong, or being too authoritarian or dictatorial, or butting in before somebody's finished their sentence, then you might want to step back a little bit and just kind of calm that down, soften that. And if you're somebody that has a tendency to be too passive and is always saying yes, I will, and that's okay, no, I'm fine, then you might want to come forwards a little bit with actually what you really need and what you want and what your opinion is, and strive not to let someone else's agenda or energy level clash with your own to the extent that it just tires you out. You're spreading yourself too thin, or in fact even more than that, puts you at risk in some way. So again, you know, it's always this fine line that's got to be drawn, but just be aware of your boundary there. And then you and someone else can, as I say, be very productive, be very successful, because both of you are getting what you need from the relationship. From the 18th, it's going to be a time for you to put your energies into maybe a joint project, or it could be centered around property, it could be centered around finance, equipment, or whatever it is. You could just feel like you're having to play somebody else's game, you've got to meet somebody else's schedule, you've got to meet somebody else's criteria or rules, and you might just be preoccupied by that. You might be preoccupied by your resources, and what you know you've got to rely on coming to you from another. You know, it's almost as though you haven't got the overall control. So your people skills are going to be very needed, because you've just got to get on and find a way forwards. But from the 18th onwards, you're likely to be feeling more sensitive about things, more inner, you know, that's when you start to go in a little bit, excuse me, and question, but also sense intuitively, and feel your guidance around you. And just wanting to keep your cards a little bit close, just treading carefully with certain people at certain times, but trust that intuition of yours, because you really can from the 18th onwards. And another way this can work is that a love relationship goes to another level. It can get quite passionate, it can get pretty intense. So that could be a romantic one, but it can also be one with an existing partner or a family member, you know. So something could touch you quite deeply, and there could be some sort of deep inner shifting of gears, which is almost like on a level which is beyond your actual conscious mind even. You just feel it kind of go clunk like that. Just trust that intuition, trust your emotional guidance, which way it's pointing you, because it's a lot more ancient than our frontal lobes and our intellects, although we have to use both, of course, in tandem. And just follow the light on the path before you. Now, another way this can work, of course, is that you and someone are getting really kind of tight together, intense together, and getting very serious. You know, things aren't casual anymore, and maybe, you know, agreeing to take certain steps in the future. Now, every month I talk about the slower moving planets, that's from Jupiter outwards, and you can read what I think about those on my website. So for those of you who'd like to move on, you can stop listening to this video now, but I'm just going to go recap them. Of course, it's very important for you, Capricorn, because you do have some major moves happening vibrationally, you know, moving your life onwards, but you can go through some rough patches along the way, because you have these very strong aspects coming from Saturn, Uranus and Pluto to different parts of your sign. It won't be, you're not getting them all in the one area of the sign at once, although Uranus and Pluto are pretty close and will be pretty close, but Saturn has kind of gone a few lengths out ahead, so it will be affecting you, Capricorns born January the 4th to the 11th, or with 13 to 20 degrees of Capricorn rising. And just let me kick off though with Pluto. Pluto is reminding you on some very deep gut level that you are going through radical, once in a lifetime change, and you kind of know that, but when it comes to letting go of old affirmations and beliefs and relationships and memories and traditions and habits, it's not so easy, you know. But you kind of feel that very, very much within yourself. And, you know, Pluto is connected to Hades, the lord of the underworld. It's to do with the Persephone trip into the underworld to find your darker other half, you know, Persephone's sister who lived in the underworld. And some of you might like to read up on that Greek myth. Because it's an analogy for what is going on really in your life. I mean, it's epic. It is, as I say, very profound. And the death rebirth planet Pluto is doing a cosmic makeover on you guys. But of course, you are part of that. You know, you've got your choices. But sometimes it's almost as though the hand of destiny is at your back with this one. And just listen to your silence, just listen to your knowing. It'll be so clear now if you just get the mind chatter out of the way. And even though you don't agree with it, because the mind chatter is screaming at you, this really is a very profound time in your life. And at the other end of it, you will be reborn. You will be very much refreshed and regenerated and feeling as though your life is on a completely different footing and on a very different level of the spiral. And you Capricorns born from the 23rd to the 29th of December, round about that, or round about 1 to 7 degrees of Capricorn rising, and feel this influence mostly in September. Just to speak also about Saturn. Saturn is your ruling planet, and where it's going to be until autumn 2012 is to do with changing your direction. So there's kind of more of the same, although it's not hitting the same sector of your sun sign, Capricorn. And Saturn is maybe, you know, you're asking more questions than you're getting more answers, because everything slows down with Saturn and progress seems to be slow in the professional area. You've got to be patient there. You will definitely be slowly building a new structure for yourself. So really what I have to say is make sure you're doing something which you really want to be doing because of all the Pluto happening. It'll just tumble really. It won't hold or stick maybe if you're not being very honest with yourself about where you're at. And of course we've all got to put food on the table. But putting that intention of yours out there to get more, if you feel as though you're not in the right place with your work, with your profession, then is working with the Saturn energy, which loves to build. It loves to build slowly though. I mean, builders always turning up late, so loves to build, and by autumn 2012 you will have rethought, you will have upgraded, you will have improved, you will have built maybe an image, a reputation, you would have worked hard on presentation, you would have learnt your lessons, because this is a hard taskmaster, Saturn, and understood what blocks there are there. You might even run up against an authority figure, you know, the powers that be, that are causing you a bit of hassle, and again getting shrewd and canny about how to handle that to get you where you want to go. And you will just have this sense of achievement and having proved something to yourself and having got to a somewhere by the time the transit has finished in autumn 2012. And some of you, and I've seen this happen, people can be extremely successful, and this can be like the real beginning of an empire building, or maybe, you know, a completing of an empire building. I mean, it doesn't have to be all a slog, as long as you understand that you've just got to, it's a little bit like being a hunter, you know, you've just got to be alert, listen to feedback, and just use your timing. You have it in a very good sense of timing, Capricorn. So just trust that gut, trust that timing. And you Capricorns born January the 4th to the 11th, or with around about, that is, and around about 13 to 20 degrees of Capricorn rising will be feeling that influence mostly this month. You've also got Uranus coming onto your sign from Aries. That's you early Capricorns, and can mean that suddenly your foundations are rocked. Could be around family members and family relationships. It could be around the place on the map. It could be literally geological, where you are. Yes, because this is the energy of sudden change. It's called the awakener, though, and it will really awaken you. It's like the wake up and smell the coffee, and you'll just have to adapt to kind of roll with it, really, if it's related to any of those areas. And you Capricorns born 22nd to the 27th of December, or the first 5 degrees, up to 5 degrees of Capricorn rising, will feel this vibration mostly this month. Neptune has reversed into Aquarius until February 2012. That means that there could be renewed uncertainty regarding property matters, finances, and where your bottom line is, how you want to prioritize things, and you're asking yourself questions you're not quite certain. This is not a major aspect, but you may feel as though things are up in the air because you can't get the clarity you'd like. And as I say, it's not a major aspect, and could be affecting you very late, Capricorns. And Jupiter, to round off with these outer planets, Jupiter's in a very sort of playful area of your solar chart until next June, to do with romance, to do with creative enterprises and projects and hobbies and leisure pursuits and the inner child. But it's also to do with your children as well. And there's real chance for benefit and good improvement during the many months that Jupiter is in Taurus. You and children, or young people, or romantic partners, or perhaps it's to do with a pet as well. You could really benefit from those kinds of connections, which bring out your inner child, make you feel more spontaneous and fun-loving and playful. Some of you may actually, this may manifest as some of you having more to do with the leisure industry in general, or promotions, it's good for speculative pursuits, speculation, sort of investment type speculation, but do be very, very circumspect is the word, and you are a very cautious sign anyway, because of the big hitters, the wheels beyond yours or my or anybody's control that's going on and destabilizing our whole globe for quite a while to come. And if Uranus or Pluto or Saturn are making strong aspects to, and I've given you the dates for those, then it probably wouldn't be a good time to take any kind of a risk. From the 22nd, you'll be taking your worldly image and responsibilities more seriously, and may even, really want to show a good standard, want to show yourself in a good light, and do your best, but perhaps feel a bit scrutinized at times. That's it for September. If you know your rising sign, listen to that too. Also, you could try listening to your moon sign if you know it, because it'll add to or subtract from what I've said here, and it's up to you to judge, how relevant what I've said is to actually what's happening in your life. I'll see you the next time.